Hi, it's recording. I hope, yes. Hi, everybody. It's Tree Pets here from the Casting Directors Association. And this week we have a panel together to discuss self-representation and possibly touching upon non-traditional training routes. So I'm Tree Pets. I cast a lot of commercials, bit of drama, do some stills advertising. That's my sphere. And I'm going to pass you on to Camilla Arthur, who will introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Camilla, as Tree said, and actually mine is very much the same as yours, commercials, stills, and that's about it. Commercials and stills and content. Lovely.
Oh, love content. And Sue, tell us about you.
Hello, I'm Sue Odell. I mainly do stills, but of course all stills nowadays, stills advertising, involves moving image, and more little sort of online films come out of the stills, but also I do lots of short films and a couple of feature films, and I love finding actors on the street.
Lovely, really good. So what we're going to do is we've received some questions, so we're going to go through the questions, and between the three of us we're going to answer them to the best of our ability. We feel it pretty much covers the questions that we've chosen, pretty much covers what everyone is asking. So the first one is, when doing your ident, either in a casting or a self-tape, if you say self-represented, should you also state your contact details, i.e. telephone, mail? Camilla?
Well, if I specifically need them to do it, and sometimes I'm asked by the client to ask, then I will. But otherwise, the number should go on forever. 4467, you'd be there all night. So if anything, type up, print your number if you really want to make sure. And when you're doing the ident, you can have it on screen, I'd say, but don't start going
holding up in front of you, so you've got your name and your phone number. Yeah. So you're literally holding it up like that, going, "Hi, I'm so, but you've got your number underneath." That's a good one. And also just to always say self-represented and say it with pride. Don't go, don't start shrinking and going, "Oh, I haven't got an agent yet," or unrepresented. It's not about being unrepresented. It's about being self-represented. And, boy, who can sell you better than you, really?
Yeah. Or choosing not to have representation at all.
Yeah.
Or is that?
There is that.
Yeah.
So where can self-represented actors find out about casting breakdowns, especially if they aren't on Spotlight yet? And do you have to be on Spotlight? Sue?
Well, the obvious thing to do is for all of you to follow as many on social media, as many casting directors as you can on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, because a lot, not everybody, but a lot of them post online. And
can I just, because what I've been saying to people about this is, go onto the Casting Directors Association website, look at all the casting director members, follow them on Twitter, and then go to the Casting Directors Guild website and do the same. And that's where you're going to get most of the casting directors in Britain. Sorry, so interrupted. Carry on.
Oh, that's okay. And they won't post everything, and you won't probably see things for the National Theatre and big Hollywood movies on there, but you will see a lot of jobs being advertised, and they often welcome people who they're very open to anybody with or without representation.
Yeah, also on Facebook, all those groups you can get, like UK productions, last minute productions, whatever. There are so many jobs advertised for actors, models, makeup, whatever, in those little individual groups. It's well worth going through those as well on a regular basis.
Absolutely. And this is where I would suggest as well that there's a site, Mandy is a site where I personally go to when I need to get hold of actors directly. Now, when I talk about getting hold of actors directly, it's not about cutting out your agent and trying to do it secretly so they don't get their commission. What it is about is, if I'm doing a casting and then someone's dropped out and I've got a casting at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning and I've lost a couple of slots, if I start phoning agents at 6 o'clock, I don't know if they can get hold of their client, and I won't know till the next day whether or not there's somebody going to fill those slots. So I will go on to Mandy and I will look at my suggestions there, and then I will phone the actors directly. So just to say, really, if you Segan's, if you are on Mandy, you need to put your phone number there, because one of the things is we need to contact you. And also to say, if you're self-represented on Spotlight and you suggest yourself for a spot, you absolutely need in the comment section to put your contact number, because Spotlight are not allowed to give it out. And then we have to email Spotlight to email you to get your number. And if I'm casting the next day, I don't have time for that. So you have to do remember, if you're suggesting yourself on Spotlight, that we do not have any contact details for you besides just an email address, and we want a phone number. And also to put it up.
Also, make a note of what you're applying for, because when I've called people up direct and they're like, ooh, it's really annoying, because it means that they've just done a blanket application to everything that's posted almost, which is annoying. So remember what it is you've applied for.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other one to mention, which I think you mentioned before, Sue, was backstage. Do you know what I mean? That's another one where actors can go on and get breakdowns.
It's Castweb.
Castweb, I don't know if it's a site, but Patrick and Rodney send it out to everybody. But I don't know if Castweb send it out to individual actors, do they? Or whether they just do
maybe you have to pay for it. I think, sorry, I should have looked it up. Maybe you have to pay to join Castweb. But they have
to pay to join backstage, you have to pay to join Mandy. And
we'll look up Castweb. They're very nice chaps, aren't they?
Yeah, really. Patrick and Rodney are lovely. Personally, once I've done Spotlight and Mandy, and I do casting networks, once I've done those three, it's kind of got it covered for me. Because I can't imagine there's many actors who are only on backstage and nothing else. Let us know if you are. I mean, but yeah, so, you know, obviously we put it on, I mean, I put mine everywhere. I'm a big person to think, you know, I like everybody to have a chance for every single job. So I don't just have my selected agents that I like, because I think that narrows myself as a casting director.
I mean, yes, when I post on Spotlight, obviously, I don't know if actors realise, but on Spotlight, as a casting director, you can tick a box saying this has only got to go to agents, or it can go to people who without agents as well, and it can go to dance people and presenters and everything. I always tick actor. Also, my castings also actors without agents. Yeah. I don't know if everybody does that or not.
That was great, and that sees into the next question, because I want to talk about that. Do you send breakdowns to everyone or only to agents on Spotlight, especially for film or television? Okay. I'm going to be really, really honest here. And I used to always let unrepresented actors on Spotlight see it until I was trolled. Until an actor took a photograph of a breakdown that I put out on Spotlight, which is a private site, and then tweeted the company that I put the company name on Spotlight and told them how shit their commercials were. And I got this barrage, and I had to get Spotlight to chase this actress and threaten to sue her, because it's a private site. You cannot take pictures. You cannot start tweeting people and complaining. You know, you're not supposed to, any information on Spotlight is not public, so you can't use it publicly. So what you'll find with most casting directors do now when they put out on Spotlight, we don't put the director, we don't put the production company, and we don't put the name of the product. I'll go German high-end car, because I'm very, very sorry, but a few trolls have ruined it for a lot of you. You know, and I know it's a very frustrating business, but you cannot take out your frustration via Spotlight, because it affects everybody else.
It drives me insane when I'm casting a film and they see the director's name and they go directly to the director, and it drives me insane. Like, why am I there being a casting director, plus the director saying I'm getting these emails, and it's really annoying. So,
well, you see, I've had that, and it was an RSA, and I got a producer phoning me going, why are actors trying to contact the director? And when I explained to actors, you know, in America, I think they maybe encourage that sort of slightly pushy thing, but in Britain, they really don't. And what they do is go, why are you contacting us when we've got a casting director on board? And what you need to understand, actors, is that the directors are looking at art department stuff, they're looking at location stuff, they're looking at scripts with the creatives. You know, they haven't got time to pick a phone to an actor asking if they can come to their casting. So basically as well, and I think for film or TV, see, what I do is I let everybody get my castings, but I think for film, my breakdowns, but for film and TV, I know that the casting directors are maybe more specific about the agents that they contact. Do you know what I mean? Might not get in touch with everybody, and they might have lists of agents where they like. So not not all agents will see every breakdown that's out on Spotlight. I'm returned. Did you want to say anything more about that, Sue? About looking for actors who haven't had additional training, who are represented?
So sorry, guys.
I know. I'm waiting for that to happen to me. I've got my 2 dogs here. Sue, let me ask you: do you ever specifically look for actors who haven't had traditional training, who aren't represented, or who aren't?
I don't. Yes, I do, because I spend a lot of. I live in the middle of London, and until very recently, I love going to theatres, film productions. All sorts of, I love going to. I find people I have various contacts. I mean, there are lots of theatre groups that I go to, whether it's children's theatre groups, Seen and Heard Theatre Charity, the Big House, which is a fantastic theatre charity, which I can talk about later on, where we've picked up loads of people who are just sort of completely untrained, and they're wonderful. They're raw, they're fresh, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Plus, lots of fringe productions. I'm always going to fringe, and I'm always standing around afterwards chatting to actors and people who aren't actors, who are just, meeting people.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about street casting is that it could be pretty much anything. I mean, my version of street casting is not necessarily going to be the same as yours. But what's great is that I am open to people who are self-represented to apply for a breakdown that needs somebody who is confident in front of a camera, who's got some experience, and who wants to be an actor, ideally, but that is completely fresh and new. So you can apply for a position as a street cast role, and yet you're taking with it your experience, your training, if you've got training, and obviously, I'm afraid you're going to come out better than somebody who's literally never been in front of a camera before. Thanks, Mark. So yeah, I personally think you can put yourself up for street casting stuff. Does anyone agree with me?
Yeah, I think you could put yourself up for street casting stuff if they like the term real people, and I know that upsets actors, but there are certain brands like Dove where the whole branding is that they don't use actors. So you are at the beginning, and to me, I can't think of many people under 23, 24 who are not used to being in front of camera, because they're always this, they're always, so
everyone's very savvy. I've been doing this for 35 years or more. I'm very old, as you can see by my grey hair. But things have literally, I live in the middle of Camden, so in the olden days it was just literally me going out and about. I didn't even know there were model agencies. I found people literally on the street, but now everyone's savvy, and unfortunately the advertising that we do, people say we want to do street casting mainly because they don't want to pay the big buyout usage fees. They think they can get people for 500 quid for a worldwide campaign, which actually people are very savvy nowadays.
Most of us don't allow that anymore, and I think most of us rule of thumb, and it may not be as much if the actors get, so say if it was a buyout that the actors should get 10 grand, we would still be wanting at least 5-6 grand for the street cast people, or enough to put it's a decent sum of money and not take the piss but going £500 years worldwide buyout. So we're not letting people take the piss quite as much as they used to, because we're more savvy to the whole thing now.
And you've got to figure out what it is they want when they say street casting. If it is to save some money, we have to figure that out and then just deal with it accordingly, I agree.
And if you're new to the business, then great, we can get, because I found so many people street casting then gone on, and I've seen them, they've gone on to be models, they've gone on to be actors.
So Sacha Baron Cohen,
I remember he used to come to my house all the time. I went, Sacha, just after he left university, he was at Cambridge. He used to come in bumbling. I've got all these pictures of him. He used to bumble into my house. He was lovely, not trained. Lovely,
exactly.
Lovely character.
But I mean, he used to stick him up for street casting. But See,
that's it. So once we've street cast you, if you haven't really done anything and we've street cast you, then go on to do what you want. Although there are some companies that one specific that makes you sign a thing saying you won't do anything else for 2 years. So,
isn't it?
You can't do anything else with you. So, but on the whole, if you do a street cast job and you get a sort of bit of passion for it, you can move on from that and try and find an agent or try and get more jobs. I mean, it's a bit of a bugger these days, because I remember when I used to be an actor, and you'd look in the stage and you'd see fringe productions and things like that. And I just don't know if they do that so much anymore, because it seems like, you know, fringe productions you're kind of lucky to get onto now. Whereas back in the day, you just go on the stage, oh yeah, I'll do something at the Old Red Lion, which is well, next question. I'm returning to acting after having a family, so have gaps in my CV. Does this matter? And I would say no.
Not
You
at all.
don't dates anyway necessarily, do you? I mean, I think.
No, I don't. Look at the
I want to see
content.
what you look like. I want to see what you're like now. I mean, and also I don't want to particularly see you in a photograph from 30 years ago, 20 years ago. I want to see you today.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that actually is a really good point. I'm so fed up of seeing somebody that I think is going to show up looking one way, and they've had a massive makeover without letting me know or changing their pictures, and everything's very different when it shows up. That's a pain in the arse.
I have to say, this is a rule in thumb, and I know this is not quite what we're onto here, but you know, especially if you're self-represented and you haven't got agents, you know, sort of advising you.
Exactly.
First of all, don't make yourself look so pretty in your pictures that when you walk into the room, we're like, really? Really? All we want is for you to walk in looking like you're
Like you.
So, I would rather not have any of those over the shoulder ones. You know, I just want, and don't let them cut the top of your head off. Sometimes the photographers like to get a bit artistic. And I know, but when the guy came in, he had it in because his head was bald. You think we're not going to notice when you walk into the room that you've wasted your time? So, you know, literally, headshot, just frame it.
I think I'll be a bit lower, so I like to see a bit more of the physique as well. I like to see
that's a separate photo. So what I usually say to people is, when I'm going through my 48 on a page, and I haven't got it right here to show people, but I usually show actors the 48. That shot of your headshot needs to stand out. Now, I love a 3/4 length, full length shot in the portfolio, not in the main shot, because in the main shot you'll get a little bit lost. We won't see your head because we're looking at everybody's heads, and we're going along these rows of 4 at a time, 12 rows of them, and we'll miss you. So I would say for the main photo it's just a headshot, but when you go in to the photos of your portfolio, I would love to see a 3/4. I'd love to get some idea of physique, because for me, when you say I'm 6'2" and 15 stone, I can't tell whether that's a belly or whether that's muscles, because all I've got is your head, you know. So yeah. I did drama at uni. Would it be helpful to now do an MA at drama school? I feel I can't compete with actors who have been to a well-known drama school. What do you think, ladies?
Well, I don't want to say to people, go and spend £12,000 or something. It depends on the drama school. It depends, is that drama school, do they, at the end of their graduation showcase, do they bring in do the best agents come along and see you? You've got to do your research. You've got to see, you know, am I going to be seen? Is it going to make a massive difference? Am I going to come out with an amazing film? What sort of people come and lecture us? That sort of thing. But I'm not interested. I don't
have done an MA. And to tell you the truth, when it says, oh, I've done a 1-year MA at RADA, that's fine, but it's not the same in our eyes if you've done 3 years at RADA. Do you know what I mean? But it's, you know, sometimes you need to go out and kind of get the experience. Do you see what I mean? And this, you know, I think the thing is that, you know, uni, I mean, God, people came from Cambridge, you know, they do the footlights there, you know, Emma Thompson, you know, Hugh Laurie, you know, there's a load of people that have come out of uni. And the thing is, let's be honest, I mean, the thing that the drama schools have, which help a little bit, is they do have their, you know, I call them the tree evenings, they have their showcases. And the showcases are where the agents go to. But exactly as Sue says, you need to make sure that, I mean, I went to a drama school that is good now, but it wasn't accredited then. And there were no agents. It took me 5 years to get on a caliber of agent that I would have got if I'd gone to, you know, the top 5 drama schools. But I think people now realise, you know, you can't just, I mean, there's so many people in the industry, you can't just go for the people from the top 5 drama schools. basically.
No.
So
Yeah.
if you really need to do the course, but don't do it because you think you're going to get more work. Is my
exactly, and it's not so much where it's, you know, if you're prepared to go to drama college and put in 3 years, amazing, ideally, then that does say a little bit about you or your approach. It doesn't matter which drama school.
But at the same time, they could be really expensive, and it's not fair that, you know, anybody whose parents are under a certain earning threshold, you know, haven't gone to drama school. But you've got things like Identity Agency that have their you know, they've got their own drama training. Middleweek Newton, they have their own drama training. So do some research into the agents that have training attached to it. You might not be taken on by them, but you will get some training, and I think it's about a confidence thing, you know. So
if you've done drama at uni, that's fine. For me, that's great. I don't need any more.
Basically, I don't know if I've just asked this one. I think it seeps in. Are you swayed by where someone has trained, or whether or not they have an agent? Is it vital to have an agent?
No, not for me. Not for me, but it is for some. For bigger casting directors, it will definitely be important.
It depends what you're doing. I think if you haven't got an agent, you might find it harder to get into film. You know, but then you have to look at the Carey Mulligans and Keira Knightley's, you know, and apparently the story about Carey Mulligan is that she wrote to everybody. I don't know how this happens for someone or others. She wrote to everybody, and Julian Fellows liked her letter, liked how it was written, and asked her for lunch. So she goes to Julian's for lunch and has lunch with Julian and his wife, and they really like Carey. And then they say, tell you what, go sit in that room and phone these agents and say you're phoning from my house. And an agent said, oh yeah, we've got a part in the sensibility. Why don't you go up for it? She got the job and that's her career. Doesn't happen to most, but it does happen, you know. Yeah. So, you know, if you've got the talent to back it up.
We've got to quickly put a big plug in for our wonderful friends James and Rosie Pearson, who have just started at the beginning of June. It's called at CCI 2020. It's just a collective creative initiative, and they offer 30 hours free of industry sessions for a week, 30 hours a week. And anyway, just Google them.
So I'm going to get
at CCI 2020.
Lovely. I was going to get that onto that at the end. I mean, because we've got another question at the end about courses and workshops, but that's perfect. No, we've only got about 6 minutes left, so I was rushing. When you contact a casting director, is it a good idea to explain that you didn't go to drama school and give details of the alternative route you took?
No.
Not for me. Not for me. Not for us. Maybe some big names. I don't know.
Yeah. But to me, once you get in the room, and it's all about getting in the room, isn't it? And once you get in the room, if you can deliver, you deliver. Do you know what I mean?
It's your personality, it's you. Yes.
And to tell the truth, I've seen people for commercials from brilliant agencies who were shite at commercials. Sorry, they can't do the one-liners, and sometimes the one-liners are the hardest. You know, you got a nice big character arc with an emotion. That to me is easier sometimes than saying 2 lines. Believable. You know. So you don't need to give details of the alternative route you look into acting. And then we got onto the question of the question of what courses, classes, workshop resources can you recommend for actors who don't have the funds to go to drama school or just want to hone their skills. This is again where we say look at the collective creative initiative that the Pearson's casting have set up, because that's great. Also, as I've mentioned Identity, I've mentioned Middleweek Newton. Have a look at the agents that do some training on the side, you know, because I don't think you should have to spend 10 grand a year going to a drama school necessarily.
Can I say regarding agents, we haven't mentioned actors cooperatives. There are loads of actor co-ops, and I think that is a really amazing way for young actors or older actors or any new actors to start. You join a co-op where you're all representing each other, and you will each spend, say, 1 day or 2 day a month manning the phones in the office. So you see both sides of it. You'll see all the spotlight jobs come in. You'll get to know all your actors. You'll recommend your different actors, and I think they're great. So I think you should look at them.
I used to be worried that it would be a bit lopsided if you were working on the day a really good job came in and you do it to yourself. But actually, having spoken to people who've done it, it sounds like a really great way of approaching it. Certainly, if you can't go to drama school, it's great.
I think co-ops are a really wonderful idea. I think it's good. It's really good to know the other side of the business, because it gives a level of professionalism to you as an actor, because this is a business, you know. So it does give that, you know, it does.
And they all support each other. So if there are 30 people in a co-op, they'll have once a month, they'll have a meeting, all of them together, and you're supporting each other. Well, it was face to face. Maybe it'll be on Zoom right now. But it's. I think they're wonderful.
Yeah. So do I. So basically, if we round this all up, you know, if you're self-represented, it's not a huge problem. Just, you know, but make sure when you're doing your IDEC, you're proud. You know, you say self-represented, and to remember to put your contact numbers when you, if you're on Spotlight and you suggest to put your contact number. If you're on Mandy, have a contact number there. If you know, we need to be able to contact you quite fast if it's for commercials. Obviously, with film and TV, we get a bit more time.
And remember what you put yourself forward for. Really.
Yes, yeah. So if a casting director phones you and says, "Yeah, okay, so it's Camilla here," and you put yourself up, you know, we need you to say, "Oh yeah," and not wonder what job it was and get us to tell you the job. That, you know,
we get a bit pissy when that happens.
Business, it's a business, and you are your business.
Do your research.
Absolutely.
Yeah, remember.
Any other nuggets we want to give away, or we kind of that kind of.
I think we've pretty much covered
most of it, haven't we? Really.
Yeah.
I'm extremely proud right now, right today, because 2 years ago, I saw a young girl called Jasmine Jobson at the Big House, which you have to Google, the Big House. It's wonderful. I saw her on a site-specific play at Stoke Newington Town Hall. She was really exciting. I cast her in a feature film, just a one-day little role. Anyway, today, this morning, it's just been announced that she's completely untrained, never been to drama school, nothing, young girl. She's today been announced as BAFTA Best Supporting Actress nomination for her role in Top.
Well, that says it all, doesn't it? Answers all those questions. That's brilliant.
But as you said, Sue, I think especially for people who you know, who haven't got the income to go to drama school, is they need to find places like the Big House, or find these theatre companies that are supporting young people who can't go down the traditional, you know, I've got 12 grand a year to spend at drama school route, you know, and that's what's needed. So generally, stay positive. You know, we will see you, and
we're on your side. We're on your side.
We're on your side all the time. Brilliant. Yes, brilliant. Thanks, ladies. Take care, everybody. Hopefully see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.